The training is based on trainers' personal journey, marked by both victories and defeats in Toastmasters international competitions. It is made for leaders and speakers of all levels, logically for everyone. Feel free to share it with someone who might find value in this video. Trainer Virendra Nirmalkar was first runner-up at the District 125 ISC Speech Contest in 2023.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right. Lionel Messi, famous footballer, said, "It took me 17 years, 114 days to become overnight success." What it means? It means every one of us have to go through rigorous practice, patience, and persistence in order to crack any contest that you want to crack, right? And one of them is ISC contest. ISC means International Speech Contest, which Toastmasters conduct once in a year. Now, let's figure it out how we can participate and do well. I'm not talking about winning or losing. That's again different thing, because every time that you compete is not competition with other ones. It's a competition with yourself, right? Exactly. So we'll compete against ourselves and try to understand how we can become a better version every time that we deliver speech. All right? So that you are prepared for the ISC speech as well. So we will categorize this whole training session into three different segments. One is what I see. The second is what I hear. And third is what I feel. Can you repeat after me? What I see, what I hear, and what I feel, from the perspective of an audience. Now let me begin with what I see. So what I see is generally the speaker coming onto the stage with some aura. Now what it means by aura, which means there's some kind of energy, enthusiasm that somebody has. And if I walk on the stage, Virendra, blah, blah, Virendra. This is what exactly I did in a couple of my initial speeches, Then I observed that this is not the way. When I looked at the great speakers, how they stepped onto the stage, blah, 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 blah. All right. With a smile and enthusiasm and kind of energy that shows up that, hey, today everybody is going to listen to you. That shows the confidence and the trust that you build with the audience. Run on the stage literally and then smile. So at times we have butterflies flying in the stomach, so much timid, shy, coy, but still you have to somehow smile and show the people that I am the one you are going to listen to and feel proud about, okay? So you'll have to smile. And then your dress. So how do you dress generally? How do you dress up? Formal. Okay, that's accepted. Formal. How about informal? How can I wear kurta and pajama and speak up? Yes, it has happened. In one of the ISC winners, who was talking about Indian wedding, how he attended Indian wedding, and he was attired that way, right? He was attired in kurta and pajama and he spoke all the speech and like he became the world speaker, world's international winner, You don't have to be, there's no thumb rule as such. The easiest way to go for is formal. Because it connects with the audience. Most of them are professionals, so they can relate with you. Now, next one is the ambience. Again, when you talk about something, make the people feel what you're talking about, where they are. So try to talk about something related to what you have in your ambience. That's what they see, right? The frames generally, we call it. Now, again, they envision, or rather they imagine the characters. They imagine the characters in your speech. So how many characters do you think we should introduce in a speech of 7 minutes? Exactly. 3 to 4 is the best one. Do not go beyond that. Do not include your friend, teacher, your spouse, your uncle, auntie, mama, papa, everyone together in a speech. Otherwise, it will be completely chaotic, right? So include, at the most, go for 4, not more than that. Then comes what we hear. Generally, you hear the two things, the content and the voice. So we'll talk about the content first. Before that, first and foremost, what you don't even say is the title. So how do you think that title should be for your speech? Catchy, it should be relevant, right? It should be relevant. Every speech that you deliver has to be relevant. Otherwise, in humorous speech, generally it happens that you give anything as a topic. and it sometimes worked. For me, I gave something weird, If you understood the jokes, laugh at it. If you don't understand, don't laugh at it. This was my topic. And then I came in front and spoke something. Right, it is humorous speech. But for ISC, there has to be some dignity maintained and therefore give some topic which is bang on to the speech that you're delivering, right? Okay. Now, once you hear your title, your name, and then open up, what is the generally first thing that you need to connect with the audience to? Like, what could be the first thing you utter? First statement. That can be a question, it can be a quote, or it can be anything that you want to, as a hook. What is hook? You need to catch the attention of the audience. And in order to do so, you can do anything that you wish to. Anything could be, maybe even you can fall onto the stage. That's what something one of the speakers did and spoke for a couple of seconds lying on the stage itself, right? So it has happened. So there's no thumb rule again, but you have to get the hook. You have to catch the attention in the very first seconds of your speech. Get to the point. What it means by get to the point? There is a method called get to the point. This pyramid principle says that come to the point right in the beginning. Don't come with a story. I have seen often, not often, but couple of speakers, they narrate the story for 2 minutes and then they introduce themselves. Hello everyone, I'm going to share about something. So it takes too much, right? At the most 30 seconds to 1 minute is a way forward. Otherwise, don't really choose too much and then introduce the topic. Get to the point, tell about what is that you want to begin with. Messi, the footballer, has quoted that it took me 17 years and 114 days to become overnight success. Hello everyone, I'm going to talk about failure and success today. This can be opening, right? So begin with something which is bang on, which shows what is your speech all about. Now, let's come to the triangle, right? Which is the triangle of Aristotle, which was long ago, 2,300 years ago, he created something which is still relevant, which is called rhetorical triangle, which says there are 3 components. Ethos. Does anybody know? Pathos and somebody is, it's logos. Ethos means you can consider ethics or rather trust, right? Am I trustworthy to speak on that topic? Am I speaking something which audience can trust to? Right? How would you create that trust? A small story, that anecdotes or maybe even your own story, personal story, that's the best one to go with, Small story or your own story or anything else. Your achievements could be one. Your title generally, it is not considered, but your generally titles also can go into the trust. So how do you create the trust with the people? I'll give you an example. With the example, we'll understand more. But let's go ahead with those 2 elements as well. Pathos. Pathos means your sympathy and empathy. Rather empathy, I would say. Right? So how do you have empathy with the audience that gets generated and they'll feel that, yes, he is really making sense. Right? The next one is logos. Logos means logic. Logic means what is the data, percentage, or anything that you're talking about which makes the audience feel that you are expert enough in that. Right? These are the 3 elements which makes any speeches convincing enough that audience can listen to and can be convinced or inspired at the end. Okay? Let's talk about ethos. Now tell me, if you have to create one speech for making me or everyone wear this helmet, what would you do in order to make it a trust in between the audience and you? Can anyone speak up? Share your own experience. That comes to the pathos, I would say. Or rather, that can work. For example, can you give an example? Yes. Exactly. Or you can say that I have been a bike rider for 10 years. I have also traveled to Himalayas from Pune, and trust me, helmet is the thing that you always need to carry, right? So that brings the trust. So how do you create the trust with the audience? This is the way. Can we acknowledge him? Wonderful. Next is pathos. How do you create the empathy or pathos, like sympathy with the audience? Sad things, right? Exactly. For example, one of my friends did not wear helmet, and the moment he met with an accident, he died on the spot. Everyone, you are my family members. I come here, share emotions with you, the time with you. You are extended family members. And I want everyone sitting here to be safe. And therefore, this helmet is going to save so that we can be here for a long time as Toastmasters and family together. Okay? So look, you're connecting with the audience again with the empathy and sympathy. Now come to the logos. What kind of elements can be added? Any example for this helmet again? Number of facts. Can we acknowledge him? Very nice. Okay. So what kind of the data can you think of? Any that you can make it up? I don't know. Exactly. How many accidents we had in a year? How many people died in it, right? Exactly. So those are the things we can include as logos, which means percentage or something, statements which make it valid. Good. Can we acknowledge him again? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, that's about little content, that how should the content be. Now, coming to the language usage. What is the language usage generally you should have when you speak up? Easy to understand? Easy to understand? Okay. Everyone agrees that we should have easy to use language? I would little differ from you. I choose to differ from you. Make it easy. Right? But I told about, right, this ethos, which means what? You have to create a trust also. So as a speaker, when you speak up, use some masalas, the spices on your speech, which makes you stand out from the other speakers. I'll give you an example. In my speech, when I spoke on the last contest that I had, I said, at the end, I didn't want to feel like I am a fluoxetinosyl and therefore I did blah blah. So what it means by fluoxetinosyl, by the way, the single word, third longest word in English. I used that because I wanted the judges to feel that I am expert. And sometimes you need to play with the words. So don't go complete 7 minutes of Shakespeare or Shashi Tharoor's speech. Right? Otherwise, you'll lose the whole, connection with the audience. Rather, keep it simple. However, add the flavors or spices of masalas of making the language sound impressive. Clear? Good. Okay. Now, how about humor? Is it required? A little bit? I would say very much. Most of the speeches that you witness, check again once you go back home, watch all the speeches. Majority of the speakers have won because they were really good at humor. The jokes were there and everybody was laughing at it. And I have been really weak at it. I'm learning still, right? So when you cut a joke and people don't understand, move on. Don't expect that they'll laugh at it, and if they don't laugh at it, just move on. Don't make them realize that this is a joke. Okay. Next is the punchline. What is punchline, by the way? Has anybody seen that Virendra, Sri Lankan speaker? I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. Has anybody seen that? Yeah. So he kept on saying the same thing. I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. Right? So he kept on saying for 3 or 4 times throughout the 7 minutes of speech, which I used again in my speech. I kept on saying, you're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. Like 4 times in a speech. And at the end, I left with the note, you are. Sometimes even people take the title itself as a punchline and they keep on repeating the same thing. So which can work. Now this is all about what we see and what we hear. Now what do we feel? Anybody? What should we make the audience feel? Exactly. The message, right? Emotions and the message, yes? If audience can correlate, exactly. So the message, again, you're coming to the message. The same, everybody's coming to the message. What we call it, prep, P-R-E-P. Generally, it works in table topics. Point, reasoning, example, and then again point. For ISC contests, I would say, go for prem. Prem se bolo. You don't have to say Jai Mata Di na. I'm saying prem se bolo, P-R-E-M. Point, reasoning, example. Again, these three components are covered. Now, again, at the end, it has to be message. What message would you like to give at the end of the speech so that people remember you for longer time? Look, there's only 1 or 2 sentences people will remember. Maybe because maybe you have 7 speakers. And out of those 7 speakers, if first one is to speak, the audience should retain what they have said, So in order to make it happen, make that message very clear at the end. So with all that done, we are done with this whole session. Now we are open for question and answer. Do you have any question? That's appropriate question actually. How many words generally we should have in our speeches of 7 minutes around? 100 per minute. The languages that we speak in India, generally it is 250 words per minute. 220 to 250 words per minute. And when we try to transition into English language, we pace up the same way. And these influencers, the YouTubers, who come, hey, speak of fluency and conviction, speak of fast. We have been listening so fast that we go too fast. Even native speakers can't understand us, So they generally tend to speak 120 to 180 words per minute. That's the most one. If you want to go for public speaking sessions or any speeches where you're speaking in front, go slow. That's the mantra. So generally 120 to 150 words per minute is good enough. Therefore, go for 1000 words around. That is the ideal one that we can go for. Does it answer your question? How to use pauses effectively? Yes, that's really necessary, Pauses are really required when you transition from one topic to the other one. I took the pause, right? Because when you don't have the pauses and you're pacing up too fast, audience is not digesting you or your thoughts, your comments, right? So let them sink, let them get into it, let them digest what you said. Therefore, pauses are really required. Especially the pauses, you should have some room for pauses and for claps and even for laughter. At times I have seen the people making jokes and people are laughing and they continue speaking, right? So have pause there, stop there, let the people stop laughing or let the intensity get reduced, then continue with your speech. So therefore, plan for 7 minutes around so that 30 seconds can be utilized for the pauses. Appropriate question. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Right? So question is, should we start with the name and introduction of yours? No. It's just 7 minutes of speech. Don't waste introducing yourself. When you come on the stage, bang on, jump into the speech. Begin with your first statement, move on, don't introduce. Hello everyone, I'm Virendra Nirmalkar, not necessary. Right? Does it answer your question? This is my way. Maybe you can have some other highways. Right? So choose your method, but generally I don't do it. I don't waste time in introducing myself. I'll jump into the topic directly. Alright, if there's no other question, we can wrap it up. Thank you so much for patient listening and thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.